Welcome to this workshop, Make Yourself Marketable. I'm Steve Feld. In today's competitive job market, you need to separate yourself from the competition. And the way you do that, you need to market yourself and show an employer why you are the person that they need to hire. If you're tired of not hearing back from anyone when you're sending out their resume, or you're wondering why are they not returning my calls, wondering why no one calls you back after the first interview, we're going to be covering those kind of items, and also about your online profile, phone messages, email, cover letters, resume format, and general content. And don't forget, you have to dress to impress. Preparing for the phone interviews, preparing for the in-person interviews, who you're going to target, and some secret tips to get you put on the short list to hire. So if you're serious about getting that dream job, then you need to stand out from your competition and put yourself out there and separate that gap from the average and make yourself extraordinary. So we're going to discuss how to elevate you from that competition so you get that career that you're looking for. And if you're looking for an hourly position, then what I'm going to share with you could elevate you in those roles as well. But what I'm going to be sharing with you today is for those of you who are looking for a long-term career. So let's get right into it. And we're going to start off with the most basic things. Some of the things I'm going to be sharing with you today, it's not brand new and revolutionary, but it's things that I've talked to HR managers about. It's things that I've done when I'm hiring people. To today, I still look at over 20 resumes almost every single day. I could tell you who rises to the top and who doesn't rise to the top just by their resume, cover letter, even a phone conversation, interviews. I've done quite a few of them. But I've also gathered the data from other HR experts, other business owners. What do they look for in a candidate, and what makes that one candidate separate themselves from all the others? That's what I'm going to share with you today. So I hope you're ready to take some good notes and utilize these tools to help separate you from your competition and make yourself marketable. So let's dive right in. The first thing we're going to talk about is, first we're going to talk about your phone. What to put on your message. First, you need to be professional. State your name clearly. State to leave your message and a return phone number and what they're calling about. You're going to get calls from phone numbers you don't know. You're going to let them go to voicemail, and I'll explain later why this is actually a very good strategy. You need to make sure you sound positive, confident with your short and to the point voicemail greeting. Do not ramble on. People who have to listen to long ramblings just to leave a message for you, they'll probably peace out and not leave a message. They're gone. Record your message in a quiet environment. Now, I've heard some of these voicemail greetings that sounded like that they're in their car on a hands-free speaker. You know what that says to a lot of employers? It sounds very unprofessional, and you have something better to do. Take the time, put it in a quiet environment, script it out. Make sure you sound confident, positive, you're ready to do it. Next, we're going to talk about your email address. That actually says quite a bit about you. Yes, you can have some personality in there, but right now you're trying to find that super job and separate yourself, make yourself more marketable than all the other candidates. Time to get a professional email address. One time I received a fantastic resume from a candidate. Then I saw their email address and threw it in the trash immediately. It was ifbombbobby@hotmail.com. I've seen too many of these unprofessional email addresses. Why would you have that kind of an email address on a professional resume? It does not make any sense. Now, definitely keep your very first email if that's what you want. You want to have your ifbombbobby@hotmail. You can keep that. But set up a more professional email address that you use only for career searching. So the best and most common way to do this is use your first name, put a period in there, then your last name @Gmail. You want to have the period between your first and last name so when they email you, they can actually find your emails fast. It's you. And by using Gmail, it's now accepted at more and more employers. So if you have a personal website, then you may use it, but it also might give the impression to the employer that you're currently working And the HR person might have issues sending any information to a work address, such as fred@fsconsulting.com. Still sounds like a work address, where fred.smith@gmail.com is simple and it will go through the firewalls. I know it sounds trivial, but if you want to separate yourself from the competition, have a professional email. Next, we're going to talk about online profiles. We are in that age of high social media. So what do you have out there? Now, companies nowadays, both large and small, are checking applicants online. They're looking at your Facebook page, your LinkedIn profile, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter. Think about what you have posted on social media platforms right now. Looking from the hiring company's perspective, would you hire you right now by looking at your social media? You need to clean up your social media presence. Have a professional headshot used and not the picture of you doing a beer bong 5 years ago. If you don't have a professional headshot, then get someone to take your picture in good lighting. Nothing in the background, a wall with nothing on it works very well, and dress professionally. Remember, you're trying to make yourself marketable. These are simple things to do. Now, if all your posts are pictures of you partying or in some provocative selfies, then remove them and start posting something that an employer might like to see. If they just see posts of you and your friends partying hard all the time, here's what they think. They think that you're going to come in late all the time because you're partying hard, even though that may not be the case. Remember, a picture says 1,000 words. In their eyes, they're looking for that next great hire, and what they're seeing is someone partying hard in all your pictures. Make sure your LinkedIn profile is completed. A good headshot, have a nice banner behind it. The About section clearly states what kind of job you're looking for and how you will benefit the employer. You can have the history of your resume on your LinkedIn profile, and we're going to get into resumes in just a little bit. And if you're a complainer about everything and you post it, then remove all those posts ASAP. No one likes a complainer unless you're another complainer. Employers will actually skip over candidates if they see that they're complaining about everything online. They don't need that grief. Don't give them a reason to throw your resume in the trash. That's all you're doing, is giving them a reason to throw yours away. Your social media presence needs to project that you are the best candidate to hire. Clean up your social media presence. Now, I'm not saying take out all your personality out of it. What I'm saying is you are looking for a career, a job, and you need to make yourself marketable. These are the little things that are going to separate you from your competition. So think about your social media presence. Would you hire you right now for a high-level position, for a long-term career? Check your social media platforms, clean them up. Okay. Next up, Advertise Positions. There are many, many hidden clues in Advertise Positions. First thing, I cannot stress this enough. Read the job posting. Once again, read the job posting. People are just applying to apply. It's not a contest that you can tell someone, hey, I applied at 50 places today, and you didn't read one single job posting. You just are hitting apply, apply, apply. Read the job posting. Don't apply to positions that you don't have the experience of, don't have even the skill set of, don't have the passion of, but yet you're applying. People do that all the time. Those resumes you're wasting your time, you're wasting their time. It's going to go in the trash anyways. So stop it. Remember, you want to be marketable. By doing this, you're just spinning your wheels and wasting time. Stop that. So just make sure we're going to start targeting. Use your time wisely because you want to be marketable. By just throwing your resume out, you don't know who's talking to who in which company. Okay, when you apply to any posting, you want to refer back to the posting. Here's what I mean. If a job post states you're looking for an individual that has retail and marketing experience, then your cover letter will state something like this. I have 5 years of retail experience and was also the marketing director for XYZ. You can state it like that or refer back to the ad. Like, as stated in your position, you're looking for retail and marketing experience. While at ABC Company, I was the retail executive and oversaw the company's marketing department. Use what the company's looking for and use what they say in the ad to your advantage. This is going to help you make yourself way more marketable. Start utilizing the ads themselves to your advantage. Show your strengths to what they're looking for. Because nowadays a lot of employers are using software. They're looking for keywords. So they are actually giving you clues in that posted advertising what kind of keywords they're looking for. Use them in your cover letter. Use them in your resume. Next up, we're going to talk about non-advertised positions. This is actually the number one way how most people get a position, believe it or not. Really good companies tell their employees, hey, we're looking for marketing director. Who do you know? We're about ready to post the ad. Now the employees go out and tell their friends, hey, maybe they know someone who's looking for a job. Maybe they know a good marketing person. Hey, there's a job open. Come in and apply. Those resumes usually go right to HR or the hiring manager. And the reason being is an employee has referred this person to the company. So the company has taken the advice and the knowledge of that employee. So when you are looking for a position, many people might feel down. They might feel embarrassed. We get it. You also need to let people know that you are looking. No one can help you if this is a great hidden secret within yourself. You got to put yourself out there a little bit and look for those non-advertised positions. Believe it or not, companies are usually looking for people all the time. They just don't have an ad out there. They're not proactively looking. They're like, hey, we're going to use our internal systems. Who do we know? Colleagues, vendors, suppliers, competition. They're going to seek those resources first to fill that position. So now, if you're serious about finding a job that you really want to do, you need to be clear on who you want to work for and what position you want to fill. Not, I'm looking for a job. But if you say to someone, I'm looking for a sales position at a medical company, companies like XYZ or MNO would be a great match for me. Now, you provided me what the position you're looking for, the kind of companies you'd like to work for, and maybe I know someone at DEF Medical Supply Company that's looking to hire a salesperson, and I know the HR person there. So be specific when you're talking to people on what position you want and what type of industry or company you're looking to get a job in. Next, you got to tell everyone you know that you are looking for a job, but be targeted. Just don't say, I'm looking for a job. And don't be embarrassed. People, please, we've all been there at some point in our lives. If people don't know that you're looking for a job, they cannot help you, and they don't know, maybe they know people who are looking for people like you, but they can't put the two together. Give them some specifics. And I always say, don't be an asshole. And say to people, who do you know that's hiring? I'll tell you what, this is what you're going to get probably 99.99% of the time. I don't know. Get as targeted as you possibly can. But if you tell someone that you're looking for that specific position at a specific company or a related company or a related position, who do you know in that industry that I can speak with to make sure that it's the right fit for me? Guess what? You're probably going to get an answer. You're going about it in a different manner. You're asking for industry advice, someone to talk to. Guess what? When you start pulling on those threads, you never know where it's going to lead. You can talk to a marketing person at XYZ company. They're not hiring for someone like you, but guess what? They know other people. Expand that knowledge, expand that network out. They're going to help you as well. Just by asking, getting advice, don't beg for someone who do you know has a job. Try to tap into that hidden job market that's out there. Next up, Research the company. Check them out. Check out multiple companies in the industry that you are trying to target to work in. Let's say you're a chief financial officer and you have years of experience and you love doing that position. So you're going to look for a CFO position in other industries maybe, or maybe the same industry. Well, if you've been in that industry for a while, you might know some players. Well, you pick up the phone, send emails, reach out, buy coffees. Who do you know in this other industry that I'm looking to be a CFO for so and so? Guess what? Your network somewhere tied around is going to help you find the right person to speak to in the organization that you're looking to work at. Be targeted, but also research the companies. So this has taken us off the path of those job postings. This is another way to be marketable. So you need to do research on that company, find out a little bit about them, and make sure it's the right fit and right match for you. That's going to showcase your experiences, your talents, and separate you from everyone who's just flooding in on the one-click resume applies. Look at their vision statements, their mission. Does it align with you and what you believe in as well? Check out their About Me page. Many companies nowadays work really hard on working on their About Me page. When you're talking to them, how did they get started? Who do they target for customers? Learn something about them on their website. Check out their social media platforms. They're going to check yours out. Why not you check theirs out? See what they're posting. This also gives you a hook to use on a cover letter or in a resume. I notice you do a lot of work with XYZ Foundation. I've been working with that foundation or volunteering for them for years. Now you found something that you can hook in. Think of the person who's now reading your resume, that part of their whole core is helping this one foundation, and then they read your resume saying that you've been volunteering for that organization. Don't you think they're going to read your resume a little bit deeper? Yes, they will. You got to get to know them. So when you're looking at their social media platforms, also create like 1 to 5 questions to ask the company during an interview. Yeah, you're starting to prep right now. You haven't even created the resume or a cover letter yet, but you're doing your groundwork right now. So I'll give you an example. Like I noticed on your website, it states that the employees here are your most valued asset. How is that upheld with the employees? It's a great question. Now, if their company really does that, that HR person or whoever you're talking to, it's going to flow right out of their mouth because they uphold what they put on their website. They are upholding their mission and their visions. You can learn quite a bit from checking them out too. You can even find out who the owner is, the CEO, and their contact information. This way, you're going to be able to craft a great cover letter, and it's going to be targeted. Your resume and the cover letter is going to be very targeted to them, their needs, and how you are going to benefit this organization by them hiring you on. I know what you're thinking. You still want to apply through the normal channels. Maybe so. But the way I look at it, it's like, yeah, I'll apply through your job board, but I'm also going to send a letter to maybe the owner, the CEO, because if they got a real letter from a candidate and it's all targeted to them and how the candidate, is bringing all these benefits and knowledge and experience to the company and how you're going to help them, don't you think that someone might read that over your little one-click apply? This is how you're going to separate yourself from others, make yourself way more marketable. Now, following these recommendations, I gave them these same recommendations. So they actually sent a letter to the CEO. They did not apply through the job boards. So the CEO was so impressed with the cover letter and the resume, he invited that person for coffee just to talk about this person, to get to know this person, because they are not getting letters in with cover letters. That all goes through HR. It doesn't go to the CEO, right? Well, the CEO got that letter. That the candidate interjected things to answer any kind of questions that's going to help them separate themselves. And then the CEO actually hired the person right there, took them to HR. The HR person got very upset because they're going through stacks and stacks of resumes, but they haven't found that right candidate yet. That person met with the HR person, got an interview right then and there to confirm the CEO's suspicions, and they were hired immediately. All started with sending a targeted letter to the CEO, followed up with a phone call. That's all they did. That separates you from the pack. That makes you more marketable than everyone else. Be creative. Look at the Better Business Bureau to see how many complaints that this company has had against them. If they're a public company, check out what they call the 10K quarterly reports. Read those reports. It gives you a great insight. You're also going to find out every executive in the company. Okay, we've been getting all this knowledge. Now let's build a cover letter. The cover letter must be targeted to the company and the position. I cannot stress this enough. There's so many times where people, if they do a cover letter, what they do is it's a generic cover letter. It's for the wrong position, and they're just like, oh, send, oh, send. So someone could be looking for an admin assistant position. That's what it says on their cover letter. Their whole cover letter says admin assistant, but then meanwhile, they're applying for like VP of engineering because they didn't read the job posting. Happens way too much. So when you're crafting your cover letter, make sure it's targeted. Once you have your cover letter done, have someone look it over for typos, grammatical errors. It needs to be polished and professional looking. The cover letter is kind of like the cherry on top. People who actually take the time and put a well-crafted cover letter, those cover letters will get read a lot more, and your resume will get looked at for more than 3 or 4 seconds than someone who just does a one-click apply or even sends in just a one-page resume. So add the cover letter. Cannot stress it enough. After speaking with many, many HR folks, they always tell me the same thing. If they have a cover letter, we'll read the cover letter. What the cover letter is doing is enticing them enough to read your resume. The resume itself is there to just try to get your foot in the door. We'll talk about resumes in a minute. Now you can have a stock cover letter, if you will, but just make sure you customize it to each position like I mentioned earlier. You need to show on your cover letter that you're taking this position seriously. I mean, you just did all this research on the company, found out who the CEO was, you looked at their mission, their vision statements, you got all this knowledge, and if you're not using that knowledge in your cover letter, it's a waste of time. So utilize it. You're building on it. Remember, you're trying to get a career. You're trying to make yourself more marketable than the next person. Separate yourself. Your cover letter also states what they're looking for and how you match up what they're looking for and how you're going to benefit them. So match your skills up with what is advertised out there. And in the final paragraph, you should always be asking for the interview, your call to action, if you will. Because if you don't, so guess what? They're going to read your whole cover letter and go, hey, that was really amazing, but okay, they're not asking for the position. They just told us about themselves. Ask for it. Ask for that interview. Put in things like, I believe my knowledge and experience will help XYZ company to help them grow, and then give a little bit of details. Just one little quick sentence. That's all you need at that point. And make sure you say, I will really look forward to speaking with you on a quick phone interview so you can get to know me a little bit better and see how I'm the right person for this position. By doing this kind of back-end research and crafting a great cover letter, that's going to make you more marketable than the next person. Your resume. Now, first thing, have someone check this out. Check those typos. Check those grammatical errors. Make sure it is clear and clean. Your resume needs to be polished and professional looking. Don't try to cram everything in so it's just words, a whole bunch of letters on a paper. You need to let it breathe a little bit, if you will. Have some white space. So your resume needs to just be crystal clear and short and to the point. The whole point of a resume is just to get to the interview. That's it. I've never ever heard of anyone getting hired just by sending in a resume without getting an interview. Customize your resume to the position you're applying for. Your resume is actually a history of your past positions, right? Because they want to look at what you did in that industry. but it should state the job title you had, the name of the company, the dates you started and ended there, a single sentence about what the company does. Not everyone knows what that company does. And then 1 or 2 sentences about the position you had with them. This gives just a little bit of a background, enough so that the reader can grasp on what's going on. Then you should have 3 bullet points, and I'm going to call them SARs, S-A-R. So S is for the situation. So provide a situation that you had while working for that company. So the company was looking for a way to save money. Okay, short and sweet. The A is for action. What action did you do in that? So I got my team together to brainstorm on how we can find savings in our department. R is for result. What was the result you got that company? Combined many of the ideas to save money, and we saved them over $50,000 a month. Now think about it from an employer's point of view. They see your job title, how long you've been there, a little bit about that company, one-liner, what your position was with them, and then you have 3 bullet points, and then one of the bullet points says the company was looking for a way to save money, so I got my team together to brainstorm on how we can find them savings, and we found them over $50,000 a month. Think about it. You're given this situation and how you resolved it from the employer's point of view. That's going to separate you versus I did filing, I made calls. Everyone does that kind of stuff. You're not giving an employer any real rush to keep reading. You need to give them something to separate you from everybody else. You got to think, once this is created, it's created. You can change a few of those SARs out for a different position. So if you're going for an engineering position, you might have 3 SARs. Maybe you're going for a related position in digital, and you can have 3 other kind of SARs with the same company. So even if you're working for someone right now, think of all those kind of situations and write them down. You should make up a ton of them and have those at your ready to pop in to any resume for any company at any time. It's going to save you a lot of headache. What I'm saying is put in the SARs, avoid the platitudes. Now, if you're using job boards, make sure that your profile is filled out completely, including a real email, a real phone number, your real information. Many times, when they do those 1-clicks, it sends over what's in their profile. And I've seen this. Call me. So make sure your whole profile is completed on those job boards. Okay, now you've been hearing me talk about these one-ply. So there's that 1-click apply. I cannot stress this enough. Don't do it. When an employer sees 1-click apply, and believe it or not, they do. It depends on which job board that they have. Guess what that means from the HR's point of view? You're just going through the job board, hitting 1-click apply all day long. No customization. This is what happens a lot of times on those 1-click applies. I've heard it from employers all the time. Your profile says that you're looking for a Scrum Master position, but you did the 1-click apply to web developer position. They don't want a Scrum Master. They're looking for a web developer. Well, the employer knows that you did the 1-click apply. You didn't even read their job posting. You just hit buttons. They already threw it in the trash. Stop wasting your time doing that. And I know you get it. You get to apply out to 100 jobs in no time at all because you're just one-applying, one-clicking all the way through. But maybe 1 out of the 100 that you actually did it may make it to the next segment of someone actually reading it for up to 3 seconds. So don't waste your time doing the 1-click apply. Spend more of your time filling out your profile if you're going to use the job boards completely with a call to action, with those SARs. Create a compelling cover letter. So everyone you apply to, pull up that cover letter, make the changes, then apply. Avoid the 1-click apply. I cannot stress this one too enough. And I see it all the time. I keep hearing it from HR people, and we joke about it. Put your contact information on your resume. Because if they're too lazy to put their contact information on their profile or even on a resume or a cover letter, then what kind of employee are they going to be? They obviously have no tolerance for detail at all. And I get it. Some people like to put their photos on the resume and some people don't. That's a personal choice. Now, from talking to business owners and HR people, they have very mixed views on this. They really would rather you not have your photo on there. It does add personality. It does add your flair. When opting in or out of putting a photo on, I'd say opt out. You can put it on your profile, keep it off your resume. Remember, they're going to be checking you out on social media, so they're going to see what you look like there anyways. Make sure you put your objectives on the resume. So if you're just going to send a data sheet of your history of work experience, that gets old pretty fast. So they want to get to know you a little bit. What are your objectives? It's only one paragraph. That's it. Now's the time for you to shine. This can be customized to each individual position. Definitely take that opportunity to do so. You putting in your experiences, your knowledge. Maybe it won't have the certifications; those will go down at the bottom. But how are you going to use these skills, and what kind of knowledge you gained to help them in their company? And it saves space on your resume because you're going to have your position and those 3 stars. By having the objective can give a little bit broader sense. So if you're doing the exact same kind of position and 5 different companies, put it all in one up in the objective part of all the things that you're bringing to the table and save all that space inside the resume. I don't know how many times I've seen a resume that looked like each position was identical, like they copy pasted and just changed the company name and the dates that they worked. It literally looked like that. You need to break it up. So show the objectives, have a good, clean, short little experience part. And don't put, for references, please contact me. If they want references, they will let you know. Save the space. Leave salary off your resume. He who mentions money first loses. So if they're hiring for a position and maybe their budget is say $100,000 to $150,000, but you put on your resume targeted salary $60,000. Guess what? If you get the job, you're going to get offered $60,000. You just save that company up to $90,000. Don't put it on there. It's as simple as that. Now it's time for that phone interview. You've got the resume all done. You got your cover letter. It's targeted. Someone actually read it. Your voicemail sounds very professional. So now you need to be prepared. So they might just call you out of the blue and want to talk to you at that moment. Now I stated earlier, you want to actually let the call go to voicemail because you left a professional message. So here's why. You don't want to be taken off guard. You could be in the middle of playing with your kids, doing something else, maybe at a sporting event, who knows. But if you answer it, then guess what? The HR person may just start asking you questions and you're not in the right frame of mind or prepared to answer. So they caught you off guard. You're going to fumble and bumble and blow it. So what you're going to do is let it go to voicemail, immediately hear that message, find the company that you applied to, find out what you sent them, get your questions ready. You don't know if they're going to let you ask questions or not, but get them ready anyways. Now, get in the right frame of mind before you call them back. Sit up straight. Talk clearly. No mumbling. Use short answers to state your point. This is where you need to be prepared in your answer part. And we're going to talk about questions and answers, or questions and questions to ask, coming up a little bit later. But don't ramble on. They may only have just a couple minutes to talk to you. It's just a phone interview, and by you rambling on, kind of kills everything that they wanted to accomplish with you on that call. Next thing you know, they might say, I got 15 minutes. They ask you one question. 14 minutes later, they go, thank you very much. And you're like, well, I didn't answer anything else. And it's like, well, you are the one who wasted all that time. They won't. They'll ask short questions. They expect short answers behind it. This is going to set you apart versus the person picking up the phone and just answering. Now, if they called you, left a message, and you're prepared and you called them right back, and maybe they just want to set up the appointment at that point, great. But you were prepared because you don't know what they're going to be asking. Set up the appointment. And if you have a scheduled, say, a phone time, Please do whatever you can. You know they're calling in. You don't know that number. Pick up the phone. When you have a scheduled appointment, same thing for an unscheduled appointment. Be prepared. Do the research on the company. You have all your documents in front of you on your computer, whatever the case may be. Make sure that you know what you sent them so they might refer back to it, and be prepared for it. If it's a video, dress to impress. Dress up. Because the whole point of a first interview or a phone interview, video interview, you're trying to get to the next interview. That's it. So remember, the cover letter just gets them so they can read your resume. The resume is just to get your foot in the door so they can call you and set up an appointment. The first interview is probably just a little quick get to know you to see if you can make it to the second appointment. Think of it as in stages. Shine at each stage. That will separate you from your competition. If they do give you a few moments during that phone or video first time interview to ask questions, always, always, always take advantage of that moment. This is your moment to really separate yourself from everyone else. Most candidates go, no, I'm good, and leave it at that. Guess what? That's what they'll do, is leave it at that. But why not ask certain things like, how long do you have, or when do you plan to have this position filled? Now it's showing interest, that you're interested in this position and you want to get this ball rolling. Another great question to ask is, how long has this position been available? If it's been open for a long time, there's something else going on. You might just ask them, why is that? Shut up. Let them answer. They could say, maybe we haven't found the right candidate, or we've been posting on and off. We haven't taken it seriously. Now we're to the point we are. There might be a bigger story behind it. Find out what that is. And then just ask for, okay, can we set up the next appointment now? You never know what the answer might be. It might be yes, or we'll call you back. Either way, ask for that appointment. It couldn't hurt. And whatever you do, once again, avoid talking about money. They may ask you, how much are you looking for in this position? Don't throw a number out, just like I mentioned about the resume. What you might say is like, oh, so we're negotiating to hire me right now? They'll usually back off real fast. And they're going, well, we're just trying to get a range. And it's like, great. Well, you're a company. What is your budgeted range for this position? They already have that number. Now let them tell me. And whatever number it is, if it is in your range, great. I can work in that range. Why don't we get to know each other, see how we can benefit each other, because I want to help a company that I'm working for. And I'm sure if we come to a great agreement, the money will be an easy discussion. Can we agree on that? They'll usually say yes. Drop the whole money thing for right now and move forward. You've also separated yourself from everyone else who just threw out a number. So your number might be higher, might be lower, might not even be in their range. Don't throw out any numbers. Avoid talking about money. You're not at that point in the conversation yet. Okay, now the interview. You got your foot in the door with the resume. You got through the gatekeeper. You got through that first phone interview. Now it's time to shine and get that job. First and foremost, I've mentioned this many times, dress to impress. Don't show up for that executive interview in your COVID clothes, sweatpants, shirt, t-shirt, and flip-flops. No matter what the role is, dress like you're going to a wedding, going to a funeral, going to a high expensive event. Dress to impress. Guys and girls, please watch the cologne and perfume. We don't want to smell you coming. You're going to be probably, nowadays it could be video interviews, but it could be live and you're in a small little room. By over-scenting the place is a big turnoff. Because now they're thinking, what happens when you're working here? Are you going to smoke us out with your cologne? Take it easy on that. Take it easy on the bling too. We know you want to get all dolled up, guys and girls. Take it easy on all the accessories and the jewelry. Think about it. You want to have want them to focus on you, not focus on your bling, okay? Okay, I have to say this one, and I can't believe I'm saying it, but I've seen it too many times, heard about it too many times. No gum chewing in the interview. You're there to interview, to shine. Put your best self forward. Don't take away from you with these other little kind of things going on. If you have a drink, leave it in the lobby. Leave it in your car. Don't bring it in. Watch your body language because it does say a lot about you. Look at them in the eyes, but don't give them that crazy stare. That kind of freaks people out. Be prepared to answer questions. Be also prepared to ask questions when it's your time. I always stress this. This is going to separate you and let you showcase yourself to that employer, to that interviewer. Another one, be on your best manners. Don't bring in a lot of baggage. And I mean, not just emotional, physical baggage is what I'm talking about. Always take notes. Be kind to everyone you meet in the office. Always arrive at least 10 minutes, 15 minutes is even better, before your set meeting time. Next thing is follow up, follow up, follow up. This is by far one of the simplest strategies I can guarantee that will separate you from the pack. Get a package of those blank thank you cards, and then right after your interview with them, hand write that person who you just interviewed with a handwritten, personalized thank you card. You get done with the interview, you go out to your card, write it down. Look at your notes. Thank them for their time, how much you learned about the company and the opportunity. And now here's a quick moment to say something that you may have forgotten during the interview that might help you separate yourself and help the company as well. Then end it on a high note. I'm really looking forward to our next meeting and finalize how I can be an asset to your company. Then drop it in the mail and send it to them. But if they had a receptionist, this one is going to blow you out of the water. Don't stamp it, seal it up. Instead of putting the address on there, just put down to and that person's name. Go back in, hand it to the receptionist. I just got done with the interview. I just want to give a thank you card out. I thought it was a great interview. Pump yourself up, how excited you are, because that person's going to talk to the person who interviewed you. Can you please give them this card? Please, please. Guess what? The receptionist is going to probably walk that card right away to that individual. And do you think they're going to notice you? Oh yeah. And here's why. No one else is doing this at all. Nobody except you guys. Now here's why. Think about it. That interviewer could have been their 5th interview of the day. They're drained. Oh, asking the same questions, hearing the same answers. You were different. You want to end on a high note. Even if that person was going into a next interview, you still want to do this because when they come out of the interview, they're going to see that thank you card on that desk. The receptionist hands them this thank you card, and it's from the person that they just interviewed, you, and your resume is still on top of the pile. Do you think they're going to take notice and make me jot down a few notes that you did it? And that's going to put you in a different pile now. The pile that they need to take seriously. And most of the companies, when they do this kind of stuff, those are the people that they want to talk to. Those are the ones who are thinking outside the box. Be creative, showing an extra effort. Those are the companies, the companies that the people want to hire. Be one of those people. Now, if it's a virtual meeting, you can't exactly do that. But you have their email address, do the exact same thing via email and still write out the handwritten card and mail it to them. Next up, so what kind of questions should you be prepared to answer? The most common, and I call it the biggest softball question, simplest question, just tell me about yourself. Have something prepared, short and sweet. 30 seconds maximum about yourself. Short and sweet. What are some of your weaknesses or your failures? Sometimes what are your strengths? And you need to spin all these questions to get it back on you. Here's another question. I've interviewed some great candidates. Why should I hire you? Simple answer is like, well, I'll be honest. I don't know who you interviewed. I don't know how I compare to them. All I can do is tell you how I can benefit you. Why'd you leave your last employer? Play games with this one. Just tell them, what's the biggest mistake you've ever made? I love this one. Here's a good one. What can you offer that someone else can't? Well, I don't know what the other candidates can offer. I can only tell you what I'm bringing to the table. How much money do you want? Like I mentioned earlier, he who mentions money first loses. Tell me about the worst boss you've ever had. Another great question. You don't come out and say they're a jerk. Remember, you're a complainer again. But tell them. So everyone has pet peeves. What are yours? You might say something. Don't get detailed. Don't get too personal, because it may blow your whole interview here. Why do you want to work here? Well, you did all this research. Have something compelling. Questions you should be asking an interviewer. So, is there a clear statement of the extent of authority? So basically, who are you reporting to? Another one, does the company have any long-term plans for this position or department? Well, you want to know in case it's a short-term deal. Does your company have periodic employee appraisals or performance reviews? This is a great question because you're thinking long-term with them. You want to be recognized for your achievements. What has been the biggest change in the company has gone through in the past year? They might divulge this. What is the timeline for making a decision regarding this position? What you're trying to do is like hold them to a little bit of accountability, like, hey, I'm interested, let's get this going. What's the one thing that's key to the company's success that somebody from outside the company wouldn't know about? Asking this is basically getting part of their holy grail, if you will. Great question. Is there anything else I should know about this position that we have not discussed and you think I should know about? If I get the job, how do I earn a gold star on my next performance review? Now, I guarantee when you say this, that HR's face will light up. Whoever is the interviewer, they're going to light up. That person's going to get recognized for hiring you, the rock star. What are the key accomplishments you'd like to see in this role over the next year? So what I'm doing is basically taking out of what I saw in the job posting, the duties and the role. But what else is there that you're not telling me or you're thinking about? Remember, that person knows a lot about this position and what's coming down. Ask them. They might tell you. Like I said, these are not revolutionary things, but they're going to make you more marketable than anybody else. Clean up your social profile. Have a nice email address. Clean up your voicemail. Dress to impress. Do your research. Create a customized cover letter. Create a customized resume for each position. You can have a boilerplate and just make those changes. And then in an interview, create those SARs, the specifics, the actions, and how the result. Set yourself apart. Don't forget to follow up with those thank you cards as well. Well, we hope this helped you to make yourself more marketable. Set yourself away from the pack. Please avoid those one-click applies and go out there and get your dream job. This is Steve Feld saying thank you very much for attending this workshop. Have a wonderful rest of your day and good luck